So these are 2 nucleus colonies we're going to put into these hives. These are nukes that I made up in one of my St. Philip yards, and we brought them up here to St. Peter. Inside the box is about four frames of bees. There's 5 frames in there, one's empty. 4 frames of bees, a laying queen. The bottoms of my nuke boxes have a full vent inside of them, so I have a screen in the bottom which allows me to close them up, and they still can breathe and ventilate out that bottom screen. So I closed them up last night, the front entrances. And the first thing I do when I want to move my nukes into a hive and they've been closed up is I'll spray a little bit of smoke underneath the box. Now underneath the box is that screen, so as I spray a little bit of smoke underneath the box, that smoke's going to go up into the beehive. Then, because they've been locked up inside, I want to let them out a little bit to orient and let the mean ones out. Like you can see, they've been locked inside. They're a little bit upset right now, so we're going to open them up, let them fly for a tiny bit, and then we're going to put them into their prospective beehives that they're sitting in. Right now, because I opened them up with their front door oriented with the front door of the box they're going into, they're going to orient to this spot. So when I put them into the beehive, it's going to be easier for them to figure out that they live in this beehive, because this is where they're going to orient to. Okay, so that's what we're doing, is setting these up. I'm going to let them fly for a tiny bit, and then we'll be back to put them into the beehive. So this is hive number 2 that we're going to put the nucleus colony into the beehive. We've already set it up, filled up the sugar syrup feeder with sugar syrup, have our pollen patty already sitting over top of the other hive. Everything ready to get this hive in here. First thing I'm going to do is puff a little bit more smoke on it, gently open the lid up. This one here has a lot more bees in it, which is nice. The hive I pulled us out of here had like 8 or 9 frames of brood, so I stole a lot more brood out of it. Now, this is the brood frames. That's a honey frame, I believe, and that's a partially empty frame, and that's a brood frame, I think. So I'm going to start where I believe there's less bees. So over this side, gently pull that one out. This one here was a cutout I did a couple weeks ago out of a gully wall. So it's still elasticed in. They've glued most of it together. So that's a frame of honey on there, a bunch of bees. So they have resources. So they have something to eat when they establish in their new hive. I'm going to install the nucleus colony in the middle of the beehive. So I'm going to take the first frame, stick it to the one side. These are just empty frames with foundation, so they have somewhere to grow. Pull out the next frame. This frame here, all eggs in the center here. That whole section is all brand new eggs. So right there, visually, we know we have a queen because there is brand new eggs inside the hive. And then there's lots of nectar off in this corner here. This side here, again, this section here, right here, is all eggs in here, so that's a good sign. And then nectar off to the edge. I don't see much pollen in here. But with the nectar flow, the blooms around, there's lots of pollen in the natural environment, and we're going to feed them also. So I'm going to put the next frame there. Next frame, whole bunch of cat brood, eggs, and older larvae around the outside edge. Queen looks like she's laying really, really well. Other side, again, cat brood. And wherever there's no brood, this is all eggs and larvae off this side. Pretty awesome. Put this in position number 3. Number 4 here. pull it out. There's a bunch of cat brood in the corner here, a whole bunch of bees. Haven't seen the queen, but I'm not at all worried about that because I did find eggs. So don't worry at all. Don't spend extra time in your hive to find a queen. If you find lots of eggs, you know you have a queen, you know you have a pretty good hive if everything else looks good. So I'm quite happy. So there's some more cat brood, and there's some different staged larvae in that section there, if you can see that. Okay. Position number 4. And then the last frame. This was a cutout out of a gully wall. And because it was out of a gully wall, I didn't know anything about those bees, and I didn't know how long they've been in that gully wall. I didn't know how much mites they had. So anytime I was ever going to do a cutout or pull bees or find a swarm somewhere, the first thing I would do is just treat them for varroa mite. If they are feral bees or live or bees from another beekeeper, you don't know what their levels are. The safest thing you can do right away is treat them with something for varroa mite. Now they're only 5 frames of bees. The other frames are all empty. So I'm just putting 1 tab of Apivar inside that hive. The treatment for Apivar is 1 strip per 5 frames of bees. So that's already been in here for about 3 weeks with these bees. So I'm just going to stick that in there, let that sit in there for a bit. It'll make sure they don't have any varroa mite. Pull out the last frame. This last frame again is partially brood. Like I said, the hive I pulled this out of it had so much brood in it. I stole a lot of brood. It should make for a really, really nice hive here. And then the other side is half brood, half pollen. So you can see a bunch of pollen on that side. So a lot of resources in this hive. Gently put that in there. I'm going to take all my frames, slide them over tight to the feeder like this. And then left in our box, we have a whole bunch of bees. And because we didn't find the queen, just like in the other hive, the queen could be in there. We want to be sort of cautious when dealing with a clump of bee. And I actually just saw the queen. Queen is right down in here somewhere. I just saw her go down in there. So want to be fairly cautious. Don't want to kill her or lose her. There she is. There's the queen. So grab the queen here. Nice long body on her. She's laying really well. Really fantastic queen. I'm going to set her down on a frame. And there she is, walked right down between those frames, and she's in the new beehive. So now I don't have to worry about killing the queen. She's down in the beehive. I can just take this box like the other box, once I get my glove on. Take this box, turn it upside down, 1 tap on top of the hive. There are a few bees in there. I'll just set this over in front of the beehive so they can figure out where they live. A couple of the elastic bands came off. I'll take them out. Always take everything away from you. So these elastic bands, just don't throw them on the ground outside your beehive. Take them out of the woods. There's enough junk in the woods. Don't leave junk behind. Take our pollen patty, and this again is a half a pollen patty. I put the other half in the other hive. Poke a bunch of holes in it to make it easier for the bees to find it. And then I'll gently just put that over top like that. Grab the lid. And again, when I'm putting things on top of a hive, I always sort of turn them on like the lid of a container so I don't smush many bees. And those are our 2 newly installed beehives in Beautiful St. Peter, Barbados. Great property, 10 acres, all agricultural land around here, so I don't have to worry about the government spraying fogging for mosquitoes. They should do really well. And I have lots of land to expand, so I could probably put 20 or 30 beehives in here. So anyways, Brian from Barbados Honey Company, get the heck outside. Enjoy your day. Enjoy this beautiful country you live in. Have a good one.